Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today for the Hungarian Tourism Agency and Black Diamonds webinar. For those of you who I haven't met, I'm Bethan, I'm an account manager at Black Diamond, and I'm very pleased to be working with the Hungarian Tourism Agency and their partners today. So this is the second of two webinars that we are doing. This webinar, as you know, will be covering Hungary beyond Budapest. The first webinar was on the 18th of November and covered Budapest and its hotels. I can send you the link to this recording after this webinar for those of you who might have missed that webinar. This session is also recorded and will be available to listen to afterwards. But please stick around as we have a prize draw at the end of this session. We have three great prizes courtesy of our guest speakers today. And we'll be asking questions at the end of the presentation, and the quickest person to give the correct answer in the chat box will win. But all of the answers, I can assure you that all of the answers to the questions will be in the presentations today, so listen out carefully. So the prizes are, we have a place on a future agent fam trip to Hungary, which is incredible. We have some amazing rosé white wine from one of the regions you'll be hearing about today. And we also have a voucher for two people to go to the Renaissance restaurant in Visegrad and tickets for the Knights tournament, both of which you'll be hearing about today as well. So hopefully that'll whet your appetite for the prize. This webinar will last around 40 minutes and will be followed by a sort of 5-10 minute Q&A session. So if you have any questions, just submit them in the chat function and we will go through them at the end. So we have three fabulous guest speakers today. We have Dalma Horváth, she is the Regional Head of Business Development at the Hungarian Tourism Agency. We have Pálko Rokusfaldi, who's a winemaker, and he will be talking about Hungarian wine. And we also have Robert Zeller, who is the General Manager at Visegrad Tours. So I am now going to hand you over to Dalma, who will be kicking off today's presentations. Over to you, Dalma.
Thank you, Bethan. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome all of you to this presentation. As Bethan mentioned, my name is Dalma. And actually, I'm the new regional head of business development responsible for the UK market. So some of you might have already known me from before because I used to deal with the market previously. But now I'm back on the market. I'm very happy about it. Just a few information. I used to live in London. I went to the University of Greenwich, studied tourism there. So it's to be honest with you, it's a really nice thing that, you know, I'm back on the market and I'm happy to be working with all of you again. So I'm from the Hungarian Tourism Agency, which is the National Tourism Board of Hungary. And if you have any questions regarding our country, or if you would like to get in contact with Hungarian suppliers, please don't hesitate to drop me an email or to get in contact with me, and I'm happy to help you out with anything you need. So just to start off my presentation, the topic that everyone is actually you know, fed up with, and you know, I think we had enough of COVID-19, but still, you know, we need the information of what is happening in each destination. So the current COVID-19 situation here in Hungary is that unfortunately the numbers are the active cases are still increasing. At the moment, kindergartens and primary schools are still open as the government is keen on keeping the country going, so the parents of these children can stay in at their workplace. So restaurants and hotels are closed currently, and domestic tourism is off, but health and safety regulations are in place, and you know, we have a few safety measures. For example, there's like a daily shopping slot for citizens over 65, and also there's a curfew from 8 p.m. in the evening until 5 in the morning. So the borders of Hungary is currently closed since the 1st of September until further notice, but many of our partners don't know that actually business tourism is allowed. So you can enter the country if you're visiting Hungary for business. So if you need any more information about the current situation here in Hungary, don't hesitate to get in contact with me, or you can also find information on the websites that are stated on my slide below. So the reason why we're here today, and again, thank you so much for joining, is to introduce some destinations in Hungary beyond Budapest. So most of you, you work in tourism, most of you know about our country, and most of you know about our capital city, Budapest already. But just to give you a little recap, as you see on the picture, this beautiful capital is divided into two by the river Danube, with Buda on one side and Pest on the other side. We have amazing UNESCO World Heritage sites. Also, you must already heard that with the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Buda Castle Quarter is one of the most famous ones for architectural styles, basically from neo-Gothic to neoclassicist, you name it. Budapest has it all. So when you visit this city, or you visited this city, you must have experienced these architectural styles during your stay. Also, we are called, or Budapest is called, the city of spas, as one of our main products is the thermal spas that we have. So when you visit the city, there is no chance that you will miss out on visiting one of these amazing spas that we have here in Budapest. And also one of the most iconic buildings of our capital city is the Parliament that you see on the bottom picture. So I'm sure that even if not personally, but you have seen this building, our Parliament, in a picture before in one of our campaigns or in a magazine. And just an inside information, actually the Parliament has 365 towers on the building. So you have one tower for each day. So when you visit, it's actually possible to go inside into this Parliament and experience the whole building for yourself. So as I mentioned, the reason why we're here is not to talk about our capital. I just wanted to give you a little brief information about it, but to talk about destinations that are actually very close to the city center. And as travel trends are changing, not many people will want to stay in the city center, but also to go on day trips out in the nature to experience some new nature-related destinations. So with this presentation, we will introduce to you some destinations that are not certainly known by our partners, but we will focus on these destinations with our upcoming campaigns and marketing activities as well. So the great treasures in the outskirts of Budapest. What I really love about living in Budapest is you can just easily hop on your bike or jump in the car, and then basically in 20 minutes you are in a completely different atmosphere or a destination compared to the capital city. So the destinations that we will introduce to you today with my co-presenters are Szentendre, Visegrád, Esztergom, Gödöllő, and Etyek. So with the pronunciation, we could have a little practice, but all of you are unmuted. But you will get to know these destinations, and then you will know about the names as well. So these destinations are easily accessible. So as I mentioned, you can take a car, take a taxi, jump on a bike, hop on a train, and also, which is very nice, to get on a boat on a little ship. And then you can go up on the Danube, which is amazing experiencing the beautiful panorama of the two sides of the Danube while you're visiting or getting to these beautiful destinations. So our first stop is Szentendre, and this is just 20 minutes away from the capital city. And this small town is actually a jewel of the Danube band, and it has a very unique atmosphere and offers a variety of different experiences in one place. So this is very unique because even if you're after culture, if you're after culinary delights, or if you're after active recreation in nature or festivals, Szentendre will definitely not disappoint you. The two top attractions of this city is one is the Skanzen Open Air Museum that you see on the top picture, and the other is the Samos Museum, which is a food museum where you can find different little products and statues that are all made of eatable marzipan. So when you visit this museum, you can have an own experience of actually making your own little statue that you could take home with you as a souvenir or for a family member, or you could even, you know, eat it on the way back on the airplane. So this is some exciting places that you should visit. And also just to give you more information about the Skansen open air ethnographic museum that, you know, offers exciting and interactive historical experiences when you visit. So there are the folklore programs that you can participate on, but also there are possibilities for groups to have like cooking experiences. So even for incentive groups, this is possible to do in a historical retro kitchen in the museum, or also in the outside in the Skansen on the open air. And also there is a working little train that, you know, you can actually use when you are in the destination to visit each attraction of the Skansen museum. Our next stop is Esztergom, and the biggest attraction of Esztergom is the basilica that you see on the picture, and this is actually the largest religious building of Hungary. And you know, it's a beautiful building that is definitely worth visiting when you visit Esztergom. Also, it's special because Hungary has recently just co-hosted the MTV European Music Awards with London. Actually, London was the other host. Or the venue of this program. And Barbara Pavin, who is the world famous top model, Hungarian top model, she was hosting the music awards, and one of the places was Esztergom. So this was the chance for actually nearly 1 billion people to get to know this destination from 200 different countries in the world. And I think it was a great opportunity to get the word out there about Hungary and also about Esztergom, especially for the target group of younger generations who will definitely get back to traveling quicker than the other target groups. So now I will pass the word. I'm lucky enough to have Robert here with me from Visegrad, who is a true expert of this destination. So I will pass the word to Robert, and he will introduce this destination to you in more detail. So Robert, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Zeller, and I'm the part owner of a tourism company in Visegrad, Hungary. Our town is located less than 30 miles from Budapest, within 1 hour of driving by car or coach in the heart of so-called Danube Bend region. Why should you pick us as your next destination? Well, first of all, we are close to Budapest, easily accessible in short time by coach, boat, or even hydrofoil, ideal for half or full day trips. Secondly, we have 3 key attractions: the river, the forests, and medieval history. We also have all the services you need: superb activities, catering venues, and a hotel as well. At last but not least, we would love to see you around. You can trust me on that. Let me get into details about the attractions of Visegrad. We are located by the Danube River at the foot of a mountain. This means we have great views from the hillside and excellent opportunities for transportation by boats. Visegrad has 4 docks for cruise ships, but scheduled boats from Budapest also stop here on a daily basis during high season. The Pilis forests are great for hiking and mountain biking. We have excellent hike routes and paved roads that lead you up the mountain. Our third attraction is based on the town's history. Visegrad has always been a strategic location since the Copper Age. As different ages came and went, someone always built a castle on the top of the mountain overlooking the Danube River, only to be destroyed by another group of people during a war. The last castle that we still have the remains of these days originates in the 13th century. Later on, the kings residing in Visegrad built a royal palace in a Renaissance style, mainly used as the home of the royal couple until the 16th century. Our family-owned company has been operating in this little town since 1980. So you can imagine we have seen it all in tourism, or at least that's what we thought, but then 2020 arrived. It was my father who started it back in the days, and I myself have been involved for 15 years now. After a little career detour to the hospitality industry in the United States, I joined my family in Visegrad and have never looked back. We started by renting a restaurant in 1980. One thing led to another, and we ended up with a 4-star 73-room hotel, 3 restaurants, and several activities hosted and organized by our company these days. The venue of ours I would like to present you today, first of all, is called Renaissance Restaurant. It's a Renaissance themed restaurant, well, hence the name. I know it's pretty clever. It's ideally located by the Danube River and a 5-minute walk from the lower part of the castle. The restaurant was refurbished with great attention to detail in 1997, when every single part of the building was constructed and decorated by local professionals based on plans and drawings of the Renaissance Royal Palace of Visegrad. We have 5 rooms with different capacities, the smallest being for 40 guests, while in the largest room, 150 people can be seated at one time. The restaurant has been extended to the rooftop terrace overlooking the Danube for 130 guests. As well, the total capacity is 430 guests altogether, which can be extended in case of a large event to 900 guests with our 2 restaurants nearby. On our current slide, you can see the panorama room, which has a capacity of 120 guests and a foldable wall opening to a smaller terrace for 30 people. We have throne chairs in the room, as we usually try to find a king and a queen who get dressed up in robes and crowns. This is, of course, completely voluntary, as it is to be a royal court jester. Yes, we have a jester dress and a hat for that too. We have a wardrobe with different clothes from the Renaissance times, and our guests can pick one and get dressed for a photo or even for an entire feast if they like. We never force anyone to do this, but you will be surprised how popular it is, even with high-profile guests. I have seen an entire cabinet of ministers getting voluntarily dressed as soldiers, kings, queens, jesters, princesses within 5 minutes of entering the restaurant. By the way, the room on a photo has 150 seats, including 2 round tables for 15 guests each. I can see you asking the question, why is this all different than any other medieval restaurant in Europe? Well, besides the authentic location, historical relevance, and the attention to detail, I am proud to say that we put emphasis on quality as well. We have partners who have been visiting our restaurant for 20 years now, and according to their feedback, the best thing about our restaurant is reliability. They are confident that their guests would enjoy food and drinks when visiting our venue. I'm not saying we always deliver 100%, but we're trying to get close to it as much as possible. And the main difference between other theme restaurants and ours is food quality. Our chefs and cooks are constantly being trained to be up to date on technology and trends in gastronomy. We can serve a large group with a simple royal feast menu that is done the right way. What we also cater to individual guests or FIT customers and foodies with our a la carte selection, seasonal specialties, and local wines. We like to surprise our guests who have their preconceptions about a theme restaurant, or as referred to by others, a tourist trap, and it's always a great success. This was proven in 2020 when we have managed to keep the restaurant open and sometimes even profitable based on locals and Hungarian travelers. And here comes our main attraction event in Visegrad. The Knights Tournament Show are organized at the Lower Castle, just 5 minutes of walking from the restaurant. Again, our partners are sometimes reluctant to consider a medieval show to be part of the itinerary. However, once you've seen the actual event, I'm pretty sure you would be convinced that this is something different. What's different in our case? Well, for one thing, the performers are actually knights, or in other words, professionals. They enjoy what they do. It's a little bit like a club in Visegrad where people like to belong. This is what makes the show authentic. And there's a little bit of humor, a lot of real life action with swords, crossbows, bows, battle axes, maces, you name it, involved. Just after the show, guests usually come up to me and ask if the fights are choreographed or real, which is a great compliment. I'm not saying there are no minor injuries among the knights sometimes, but it's considered collateral damage, essentially. My role at these shows is to welcome our guests. Yes, we have medieval drummers for that too. Explain a little bit about the history, visit the look-cutters of the lower castle with the guests, and present the knights to the public. You could call me a master of ceremony, but that's probably a little bit exaggerated. Just in case you have clients who enjoy the laid-back rural lifestyle in Visegrad more than the crowd in Budapest, we have great experience with hiker and cycling groups, staying sometimes for as long as a week. We have a splendid hotel with spa, located just 5 minutes from the forest, excellent opportunities for day trips, and plenty of activities for the evening as well. I hope you enjoyed my little tour of our services in Visegrad. When these rough times are over, I'd love to see you for a lunch or dinner so I can personally show you what is really hard to describe in a few slides and 10 minutes. I wish everyone a better year than 2020. Take care and stay healthy. And I would like to give the word over to my friend Palko Rokusfalvi from Etyek now.
Thank you. Just let me share my screen first. Just a minute. Okay. So Etyek, right. We call this the Vineyard of Budapest. Welcome everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce our region. My name is Palko Rokusfalvi, and just like Robert, I take part in a family business. Actually, I'm working here as a winemaker. We are running a family-based winery and a restaurant in the wine region, and I was asked to talk about the tourism of our village and the opportunities within. So the location, the first slide. The location, first of all, I would like to mention that the location of Etyek, because it's one of the most important things, and I think this is our main specialty. Most of the vineyards, the wine regions, are located all over the country, and sometimes it takes hours to travel to visit a winery or a vineyard. But our big advantage is that Etyek is the closest to the closest wine region to the capital with a direct highway connection. It's not take more than a 30-minute travel. The closeness makes Etyek a great one-day trip opportunity for those tourists who come for a few days, visit Budapest, and wants to visit the countryside. In the last 10 years, the infrastructure rapidly developed in this area, and now Etyek is easily approached by public transport. We have scheduled bus line in every hour, but it's also really common to organizing private transport buses or cars, in forms of buses or cars. And right now, the Etyek Budapest bicycle lane is just in the process, so it will be finished by the next summer, hopefully, and you can count on us as a sports activity as well. The history of Etyek, in a few words, like many other villages in this area, Etyek is also an agricultural town, and the history of the region is winemaking and grape growing goes back for a while. And as you can see on this map, the village is surrounded by vineyards. Nowadays, there are many different small wineries are located between these slopes, and the vineyards are makes a really rural and beautiful view for the tourists. Most of these wineries were founded in the 90s after the communism was ended in Hungary, and this is what led to our story. Because yeah, that's my father on the picture. He's riding in his favorite tractor. He's driving his favorite tractor and cultivating a small block of grapes, a small block of vineyard. My dad, and now please pay attention, my dad started this winery in the 1990s, 1999, 21 years ago. And that was a time when he bought his first block of grapes and started to making wine just as a hobby. He came from the media industry. He was a television and a radio reporter. So I think we can agree on that he has never got any previous knowledge about wine growing and wine making and grape growing. But he knew one thing, that Etyek is a real small treasure box. He would like to show this romantic atmosphere and charm for all of the people in the country and the tourists that doesn't know that Etyek is going to be really popular soon. So that was his main focus on the last 21 years. In this picture, there is our winery, the vineyard we have. Throughout the years, our growing was organic. We always built and expanded step by step. Today, now this leads to us. We have a multifunctional inside and outside variable 500 square meter event venue just next to the winery. So here we can combine hospitality and education for all of our guests. And in this level of hospitality and gastronomy, it's really important, not just to do the highest level at what you can, but also just a little bit of education for all of your guests, because you have to catch on that big opportunity that you are just next to a vineyard, so you can get a little bit of more connection with your guests, with our guests. So there are some more pictures of the winery and the different venues we have. Here we can host smaller and bigger groups. It depends on the size of the group that you bring. And as I mentioned, we also have a really nice outside area just in front of the vineyard, and all part is easy to approach in our estate. In these pictures, this is me and my dad, and I have to say the main focus is always on hospitality on the highest level, but it requires a well-functioning group of people, a team, so it's not just the two of us, but since the day one that this is one-man show turned into a family business, we concerned that teamwork is the base of everything, because it's not just one team, not just the team of the winery or the restaurant we have, it's the whole village where we have to be able to work together. I am really certain, and this is the philosophy that we work with, that that it's not working out if you can't look further than your fence. You have to always look on the big pictures. And on the next slide, next to the winery, I can guide you around in our restaurant, because just a few minutes walks from the winery, we have our restaurant, the Rókushfalvi Inn, where we have a pension and apartment houses as well. The winery and the restaurant work together to give the best and the most complex gastronomic experience for every visitors in all age. With the combination, we are able to manage all size of groups, starts from a few people up to 100, 150 visitors, and this is all goes on the same level of quality. And in every time of the year, every day, 6 days of the week, we are open. In the last 20 years, it was a huge development, because when we started to working in the hospitality industry, Etyek wasn't that popular that nowadays, but now we are. It's really good that we can be open 6 days a week, all years of all days of all day of the year, every day of the year. Attractions, right? So as I mentioned, teamwork, it's really important, but it's not easy to do this. You have to be really tenacious and permanent, and we hope that others will follow. And and yeah, we are lucky, because that's what happened here in Etyek. 20 so as you can see on this picture, there are many gastronomical producers working in the village, and it's quite sweet duty to organize them together and try to make a regional gastro-tourism beneficial for all the participants. So here we are, Etyeki Picnic. This is our, so my father's in 2002, my father's first bigger wine event called Cellar Festival attracted a huge group of people to Etyek. So he continued to organize these wine festivals. He organized 2 in every year for 10 years. We could say probably this was the time when Etyek gets started popular. And by the end of 2010, these wine festivals were visited by 10,000 people. It was certain that the people were started to discover Etyek and this beautiful landscape, and its gastronomy. But in the last 8 years, we changed these big wine festivals and turned them into smaller picnics. The point of making smaller picnics, that these are more regular, smaller, and this provides bigger presence to the local presence to our local producers. And to make it more diverse, in the last years, we added some more themed traditional gastronomic events, which goes under the same brand, just even smaller and more authentic. We have Gastro Walk, we have Goose Fest in November, and the next weekend we're going to do an Advent. Due to the regulation of COVID-19, we're going to do this Advent for takeaway, so you can pre-order your local products, and you can take them home with you from here, from the producers. So, of course, the main goal behind this is a stable and permanent tourism, which provides activities, tastings, and visiting opportunities throughout the whole year. In the whole village. To get this tourism a little bit more organized, we even developed an application called E-Kek. And from this app, as a tourist, you can get up-to-date information from all producers, phone numbers, open hours, accessibility, etc. It is working, actually. You can check it out, Android or iPhone. It works on both. On the long term, the biggest achievement would be, of course, to link the different destinations in the local gastronomy, because Etyek and its landscape are beautiful, but it also can be challenging and sometimes even harder after a few glasses of wine. And these are our plans of making e-buses and different e-bikes. And one for the end, because it's not just about future and plans. We already got some great progress, because this was the first season when we have launched our e-bikes, and so far our visitors loved it. And with this slide, I would like to thank you the opportunity to be here for the Hungarian Tourism Agency, and of course for all your attention. Thank you very much, and stay safe. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Palko and Robert. We're now going to hand back over to Dalma, who'll be introducing the last few regions that we're going to speak about today. Over to you, Dalma.
Thank you, Bethan. And also thank you for Robert and to Palko. I think both of them, you were great, and you really introduced your destinations. And I think everyone felt that, this is a family business, and it felt really nice to listen to your presentations. So thank you so much for your presentations. Now I will jump to our last destination, if my slide lets me to jump on it, which is Gödöllő. So when we arrived to Gödöllő, actually the majestic Grassalkovich castle is the biggest attraction in this destination. And this is a Baroque palace received by the esteemed Queen Elizabeth, also known as Sissi, and Franz Joseph as a coronation gift. So it is actually possible to admire this beautiful building with Sissi dressed up in a Sissi costume you see on the top picture, as your tour guide. So it truly is a unique experience as you walk around the castle, and it's like being in a history book and experiencing traveling back in time. So it's a lovely and unique experience there. And also nowadays the halls, obviously it's open for visitors, but also the halls are halls of the place is currently gives venues for concerts and also for smaller presentations. So it's also possible to actually book tickets for concerts happening in this place. And beyond the castle, the train station is also worth visiting and mentioning, which contains a recently renovated a royal waiting room that is actually very unique in the world. So this place is around 45 minutes drive from the city center, and I would also recommend it as a one-day trip when you visit our beautiful country. Oh, my face disappeared somehow with my with my camera. So the Greater Budapest destinations, I think it was a unique experience to show you all the beautiful places that are around in Hungary, very close to the capital, and just to mention a few, and these pictures show that I was experiencing this as with my colleagues at the Hungarian Tourism Agency. So the one throwing the iron star is actually me. I'm not that aggressive usually, but it's definitely worth trying the night tournament when you visit Visegrad, and also the amazing vineyard Etyek. Again, a beautiful picture where I'm trying the rosé. It's a very unique experience, and I would definitely advise you to visit these places. One of the biggest projects of the Hungarian Tourism Agency was that we have started, as it's not possible to visit our country at the moment, we decided to do digital farm trips. So now I would like to show you a video of a teaser where we introduce the Budapest and Greater Budapest destination with a short video. And if you've seen this video previously, now you know more about these destinations. So I wonder if you can spot the destinations that Robert and Paco talked about. So please enjoy the movie, and I'll be waiting for you after the video with some questions and the lucky draw as well. So with this video, I really hope you enjoyed it, and soon the whole B2B video will be available for our partners to use and to get to know about our beautiful country in more detail. And for now, I would like to thank you all for your attention and for listening to our presentation today, and also for Robert and Paco, who were the amazing co-presenters of today's webinar. And if you would like to stay tuned, as I saw some questions already and some great comments about the presentation as well. But if you have some additional questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat box. And then we will have our own questions from myself and from the co-presenters, and this will give you a chance on winning some great prizes.
Thank you, Dalma. Yes, I've been jotting down your questions as they came in. The first question is for Robert, and Yasmina has asked, do you do events at your Renaissance restaurant, or is it simply a public restaurant?
No, it is both. We do events in the restaurant, but it's also open to the public, so anyone can join us. We are open, well, usually not this year, but hopefully next year as soon as possible we'll be open, and 365 days a year. So you can just join us for a lunch or dinner anytime, or you can organize an event in the restaurant anytime.
Brilliant, thank you. And one more question for you from Chrissy. She's asked, can you get to Visegrad by public transport? I'm assuming that means from Budapest. If so, how long? And do you know how much it costs roughly?
Yeah, there are several ways. You can grab a train which arrives on the other side of the Danube River. But there is a ferry you can come across with. You can use a scheduled bus, or you can also use a boat. Usually, it should be roughly about, let's say, 5 pounds, I think, to get to Visegrad, maybe 10 for return tickets for a person. It's about 1 hour to get here by bus, and usually it's about 40 minutes, and the ferry with train.
Brilliant. That's very good value, isn't it? Thank you, Robert. I think the next question that came in will be for Palco. Someone's asked, Kathleen has asked, what grape variety do you grow?
Yeah, I saw that comment in the chat box, and I wanted to just answer it right after I finish the direct messages. But our 3 main grape varietals are Pinot Noir for the rosé and also for the red wine. We have a little bit of Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc for the whites, and I think that's a specialty because of the microclimate and the soils of the vineyards are really good for making sparkling wine. So from these 3 varietals, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, and Chardonnay, we also make sparkling. And this is one of the base products of the vineyards, of the local vineyards.
Lovely. Now it's nearly midday. I'd quite like a glass of that myself right now. Brilliant. What you mentioned that you were open 6 days a week. Yasmina asked, what day are you closed?
Usually we are closed in the beginning of January, right after the New Year's and the Christmas period, because we also have to take a short time to refurbish and make paintings and stuff like that. We are closed. No, we are open 7 days a week, sorry, not 6 days a week. So we are open every day, and we are only closed just in this small period. We was open 6 days, and 3 years ago, because of the popularity it became, we have to be opened 7 days a week. Right now, we are not open at all, unfortunately. We only do takeaways, but we hope for it's not that long anymore. It's not going to last long.
Fingers crossed. Michelle's asked, are you doing festive hampers that you can order from the UK?
No, I think we don't.
Next year. It's a good idea for next year.
It's a great idea.
This is a question for Dalma. Suda's asked, in your final presentation on Gudula, you mentioned a castle on your first slide.
Yeah.
She's asked what that castle was called.
Well, again, not easy to pronounce. It's the Grashakovic castle. But I think everyone will get this presentation, and then we can send some information, additional information as well with the names. Someone asked for the email addresses, so we're happy to send all the information in the follow-up emails.
Definitely. And this is sort of a question for everyone. One of the questions is, which of the destinations is best suitable for MICE events?
Well, it's hard to choose. I would say, well, I cannot pick one. All of them, okay, Visegrad. No, actually, they're all good for MICE events as well, and for incentive programs and groups. They all have their halls. They have the restaurants. There are different halls that can be used for conferences, and also for the incentive programs. They're all great. I'm sure in Etyek you can make your own wine with your incentive group. That could be a unique experience. And also with jumping back to Gödöllő, for example, as I mentioned, the halls are also used for concerts and for smaller presentations, so that's also possible to use. So I think all destinations can be considered as a MICE destination as well, they give a very unique and basically historical experience.
Yeah, I wanted to say Visegrad as well, but if they are overbooked, you can come to Etyek if you want to.
And one final question. Enrico's asked, can you get to Etyek from Budapest on the train?
Yeah, I saw that one as well. We have direct bus lines, so not train, but public bus lines that's direct with a few stops. With train, unfortunately, you have to get a few connections to get here because train doesn't come to the village directly. The train goes 1 or 2 villages further, and you have to take the same bus and come to Etyek. So I would recommend the bus lines, not the trains, because of the highway connection, fast highway connection. It's still not more than 45 minutes to get here, and it's stable.
Brilliant. Thank you, Palko. I think that we're going to wrap up the questions there now. I think I'm just conscious of everyone's time. So we're going to do the lucky draw. So if everyone could get the little chat box up, and we're going to start off with Dharma. She's going to ask a question, and then if you could just enter your answer into the chat box, and we'll pick the lucky draw. And this is for a place on the Hungarian Tourism Agency's FAM trip next year.
Yeah, that's right. And just jumping back to the questions, Jacqueline asked if the castle is good for weddings. Well, if I was the bride, I think it would be a fairy tale wedding to have my wedding in a castle. So definitely yes, an answer for that. So my question would be, and thank you so much for being so interactive and having so many questions. My question would be obviously, I was very lucky to have Robert and Palko as co-presenters, but I also introduced some destinations to you in the Greater Budapest region. So if you could mention one of the destinations that I talked about during the webinar. Whoa, okay. So, well, Beth and I will leave that to you if you can find the first answer.
It was Elizabeth Ryan.
Oh, good. Yeah, I see it now as well. Congratulations, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. And that's right, Gödöllő was one of my destinations that I talked about. So your prize is participating at one of our planned study tours next year, where you get to experience this beautiful country and the Greater Budapest destinations personally as well. So thank you so much. And congratulations.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Well done. Congratulations. The second question is from Robert. I'm going to hand you over to Robert now, who's going to ask a question on his on Visegrad.
Okay, so I wanted to do, years, centuries, and history, but they didn't allow me to. So the question will be easy. Do we have restaurants, or also do we operate a hotel?
Oh.
Okay. So the first person was Karen dos Remedios.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Karen, congrats. Oh, sorry, we forgot to say what the prize was. This is for 2 tickets to the Renaissance, a voucher for the Renaissance restaurant, and the Knights event as well in Visegrad. Knights tournament, should have said that. Congratulations, Karen. Gosh, everyone's heading to Hungary next year. I want to win a prize. So the final prize is from Palko. He's giving away some wine from his family vineyard. Thank you, Palko. It's so generous of you. And I'm going to hand you over to your final question.
Yeah, my question is going to be, I go into years. What was the year when my dad established the winery? Okay. I don't finish it because you already wrote it like a million times. Yes.
So the first person to type in 1999, which is the correct answer, was Yasmina Becker.
Yes,
So congrats, Yasmina. I'll contact you after this webinar. I'll contact all the winners after this webinar and be in touch about those prizes. So well done to Elizabeth, Karen, and Yasmina. And yeah, I just wanted to say my sincere thanks to everyone who gave us their time. I know it's busy in the run up to Christmas, but we really appreciate you, giving us an hour of your time and learning more about Hungary. It's been a pleasure to share this amazing part of the world with you. And, I speak on behalf of all the panelists. They cannot wait to welcome you in 2021. And I'll just hand over to the panelists if they have anything else to say.
Yes, thank you, Bethan, and thank you so much for all of you for joining the presentation. I think we have to stay positive and we see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, it's a great time to learn about destinations. But I think everyone is getting screen tired. So I personally cannot wait to welcome you all to Budapest or meet personally and enjoy a nice glass of wine from Etyek, maybe. So I hope to meet you soon personally, and thank you so much for joining the presentation today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Thank you.